Hey, Teague Bass here. Welcome to Teague Talk. And I'm sitting here with a real cool cat podcast man himself. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. The other things, Mr. Channa Channa Channa.
Hi, Teague.
How you doing, man? Can I call you Channa for short?
Yes, it's Channa, yes.
Man, dude, it's amazing because I get so many questions from people always asking, how do you know this person? How do you know that person? And, you being a podcast and dealing with musicians all the time and myself in music bassist and always playing live, they wonder how we meet and things like that. And man, what other person to ask? Like, you were from Sri Lanka, me being from the USA. And it's like, how did we meet?
Right.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I first saw you perform live in 2017 at the Tyler Bryant. You opened for Tyler Bryant, so that's where I first know about Teague, because I was so amazed with your your bass and with all your lights, and I was so that was an exciting performance. And then I think we eventually talked after several years. And then last time I saw you guys perform also with Dirty Perfect. So
right, okay, man. It's like that's amazing. And then we meet like that, but different cultures, whole different background, but we can meet in an entertainment situation. You know, we both share the same kind of like values in life and things like that. When we did talk, I remember that. And it's fascinating because I want to ask you, you being in different cultures, totally, we get to meet and connect like that. You're from Sri Lanka.
Right.
Well, people want to wonder, how did we get to where we are? Like, it started somewhere. You started in Sri Lanka, in a time during a civil war and things like that. How was it for you, as a kid and a teenager on your journey?
Yeah, so I have a younger brother, but he came later. He came after like 10. He's younger than me, 10 years younger than me. So I was the only kid for a decade, right? Yeah. So I spent most of my time at home, and I didn't have a lot of friends outside, and my parents were quite protective of me because I was the only kid. So I spent a lot of time on TV. First, I watched a lot of TV. So I watched a lot of American TV, especially like starting from Sesame Street and all these Wonder Years and all the TV shows. So I was more familiar with the American culture than actually the local culture, because I spent a lot of time on the TV, and then also discovered the music also from the same, sort of thing. So I was quite different when I went to school. I was talking about all these TV series and music and everything, but quite different from the other, from my peers. I had like very few friends who had the same interest, especially because of the culture. A lot of people wasn't able to speak English, or they didn't really understand it. So my parents, they were actually working in the Middle East for a long time, so they were quite familiar with English, and they knew how how to raise a kid with that sort of. So they sort of always encouraged me to talk in English, and so I sort of grew up by myself watching the TV, and then that's how I actually sort of grew up back then.
So you're watching some like Western programs. That's amazing, because some people on the other side of the world don't know that on this side of the world, those things they're watching Western programs, and that you can relate to all the stuff that I can talk to you about. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so, like, as a kid and a teenager, what were some of the things that you did that for, like, playing and stuff as growing up? What were some of your interests?
Yeah. So of course, we all Sri Lankans, I think Sri Lankans, Indians, they all always play cricket. So I also played cricket. So with my friends, sometimes with the kids on the neighborhood or at school, so we play cricket. And then I was very much into biking before. Back then I had a small bike, and then me and my classmate, we used to always like bike everywhere. In the evenings after school, we would just bike around, go to different places in the city. So we were always exploring. That's what I used to do. And then early on, I also got into sort of, this. I got that bug of I was looking for tapes very early on. I think I was probably 5 or 6 when I got my first
Right.
tape from my dad. So then, that sort of, I always spent a lot of time on that, buying magazines and buying tapes, looking for tapes, that sort of thing. So that was all my childhood.
Right. So the cricket, or like in the States, our big sports are basketball, gridiron football, and baseball. Yours is cricket. Any other sports? Football is one of them? Or?
Yeah, football is there, especially where I was there. There was an interest for football. And then in my school, there was a lot of volleyball. Yeah, so those are what we used to play.
Any rugby?
I believe rugby is there in Sri Lanka, but it's only limited to a certain places. Not everybody plays it.
I got it. Yeah. So that the lifestyles there is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty much the same as everywhere else in the world, right? Except you guys probably do different things when you go out or clubbing or whatever. What was your inspiration for getting into a podcast? What inspired you to get into that?
Actually, I didn't really start this as a podcast. Because I used to travel a lot for concerts and stuff, so I was into going into shows. Okay. I was always capturing the shows videos, and I was doing that a lot. So before this pandemic, so my idea for this video, what I was doing was just to put out my journey. So that was the idea. Initially, first episode I recorded was just to share where I've been. And I actually, on the first episode, I was talking about Dirty Perfect show because I shoot it just after that, like on the couple of days, right? So I did the one episode, and then I wasn't doing that. I got busy with other things, so I just hold on. And then suddenly pandemic hit, and then I wasn't able to go anywhere anymore because there was no more traveling, and then there was no concert. So that's sort of, I thought, maybe I can talk to some of my friends about the experiences. So that's how the idea started. And then eventually I started getting a lot of responses from different artists. So then I thought maybe this will be the format that I can probably start talking to different artists. So that's how it became a podcast. Even first it was more of a vlog. Okay. But it converted into a podcast because of the responses.
So this didn't start out when coming out of your teen years, as we were speaking before. Yeah.
Actually, I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't have the patience to I knew I want to do something with music, but I didn't know. I didn't have the patience to learn, play the guitar or that. So I didn't have that sort of thing. So, but I always knew I wanted to do something. And I was so fascinated with the movies, what is this Almost Famous and all these music movies about sort of lifestyle. So I was so interested. So I knew something on that of, discovering or exploring the lifestyle. That's something I wanted to do. So which I think I'm sort of doing it through the podcast. I'm sort of going, yeah.
Definitely, man. I mean, you are supporting indie artists, man. You put them out there. You have indie artists from all over the world. I've checked your podcast out, everything, and followed you, and you're just doing things for the indie artists all around the world. It's just a great thing, man, because your heart is into it. And I like to say, for me, for all indie artists, thank you very much. Really, people need to know that. Just want to get that out there. It's your mindset. It's like EA Plus. You just want to do good things for the world and put out positive messages, and this, you know what I mean? That's great. Comment from you.
Yeah, I always believe that because I always try to live sort of my life that I don't want to hurt anybody or I don't want to put something negative. So I try to build that as also in the social, especially the social media is so toxic. and it's so, sometimes it can be very terrible. So I'm trying to put a positive side of that, and then do what I like, and also talk to people who are sort of have the same sort of values. So
yeah. And that's a great thing to do, and that's just a great thing, man. Seriously, to have people like you in the whole planet, you're spreading your love, and I just hope it just reverberates around the planet. When did you decide to make the move from Sri Lanka? You moved to the Philippines.
yeah, I moved to the Philippines 2006. So like 15 years ago.
Right.
So actually, I really wasn't really thinking of moving to another country, but there was an opportunity came in with my work, because I work in the technology side. So there was opportunity in the Philippines. So I came here for, it was supposed to be like 1 month, but after I came here, I really loved the place, because it was Philippines is something in between east and west. So it was you could experience both worlds, like western and eastern things in the Philippines. So I loved it, and I loved the people. And then so I decided to stay here, uh, took more opportunities and settle here. And then eventually I found my wife here, and I have a family now here. So I actually consider Philippines as my home.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask the question that I get asked a lot, and so it's like asking you, it's like, how is life there for you? That's people like to know, because I'm from the States, you from Sri Lanka. We moved to different places. People ask this
Right.
question a lot. Yeah. So how is life there for you?
Life has been very blessed. Actually, I feel I'm very blessed. I had a lot of great opportunities. I made a lot of great friends. I have a very supportive family here, and people are very good, very friendly here. And then I I don't feel like I'm a Sri Lankan here anymore. I feel like I'm actually a Filipino, because I'm, in some cases, I actually represent as Philippines, because I feel that I sort of have that uh, feeling that I actually represent this country.
So do you, when you go to these countries, you make friends? They do the same things that we do around the other side of the world, the same kind of activities, like sports and things like that. It's basically the same thing, just a different race of people, right? A different country.
Right.
And I got to ask this now. You left Sri Lanka, and the food that you were used to eating there, and then you went to the Philippines. How do you compare the food in Sri Lanka that you used to eat and going to the Philippines? I'm sure you probably love them both.
Yeah. So I was. It took some time to get settled to how the Filipino food is, but I really loved the Philippine food as well, because they have, like, some amazing cuisines like adobo and all this, and I really fell in love with that food.
Right.
I do sometimes miss the spicy, sort of a Sri Lankan spicy food. So what I do is, if I feel that, I go and eat somewhere like in Malaysian restaurants or somewhere which is kind of similar. I really loved going to the Singapore most of the time, because Singapore has the food that is sort of Sri Lankan. They also have a couple of Sri Lankan restaurants there. So I loved it going to Singapore, because I can taste all these different food from home.
That's cool, man. So, your spirit is always high, man. It's just a good spirit. You're always, even though you're a laid back you're like a laid back person when I see you in person, but you still have that spirit. You know what I mean? Really,
Right.
yeah. The vibe, your vibration is high. This is great, man.
Yeah, especially if we are talking about something we really passionate about. So I do speak when it's necessary, and when I'm really passionate about it. I don't really talk about stuff that I don't really care about. So.
Yeah, man. You're always, but you stay positive, and you're always positive. And it shows, and it shines. And speaking of that, I wanted to ask you, how bad are you missing flying to the different music concerts around? Because you always would fly and see Guns N' Roses here. You fly to see Metallica. How's that for you now? Are you missing it?
Yeah, I still miss that a lot, and especially the group of friends that we used to do it together. So we sometimes chat and we reminisce about the past, but it's just 1 year ago. Like it's not that long, but
Yeah.
still it's a big thing that is missing. I hope that it will come back soon. The concerts will come back and we can travel.
Yeah.
But I do. I mean, of course, I miss it, but I do some way enjoying that I don't have to travel anymore places. I can spend more time with my at my home with my kid and with my also discover. I have a huge music collection, so I go through that so I can listen to them. Otherwise, if I was traveling every day, I won't be able to enjoy some of these simple things. Especially with the pandemic, what it sort of thing I learned is to be more appreciative of about things. Even having a cup of coffee outside is more you feel more gratitude to that now than before, because it's simple thing, but it's very important, right, to have a peace of mind. So that those things are important and we shouldn't take those things for granted. So
That most definitely, and I agree with you 100%. You know, it's like you just said. It's set. It's been in a way. It's families were closer with families when like I'm here with the wife and everything, and we spend a lot of time. We get along very well, so it's been great for us. If you don't get along with the person you're living with, I guess it could be nightmare. But you know what I mean. You love your family and everything. So I guess you guys do a lot of things, going out recreation together and so forth. Like you mentioned, you
yeah.
like hiking and all that stuff. And the Philippines has hiking and bowling alleys and all kind of recreation. Where do you like to go to?
uh, I do especially I like the cities more than the natural places. I like to explore the cultural places. I like to go shopping. I like to go looking for music shops and all this cultural stuff. So that's what I mostly do. And with my
Yeah,
family, we do, we go to different places and see. Uh, I haven't really focused on doing much on the like hiking and all that, but we do some stuff. But I do mostly in the cities, because especially coming from a place like Sri Lanka where everything it was a small island, right? So everywhere it's beach. So so
yeah.
so going to the beach for me doesn't make any any excitement because I'm from the beach. so
But so you're from a beautiful country, though. I've been to Sri Lanka, and it's a very beautiful place. And so you say that you say everywhere is a beach. So in the Philippines, it's well, how many islands are there? 1,000, 2,000?
7,001 islands, yeah.
Oh, so more beaches for you.
Yeah, but the Philippines is bigger than Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is just very small compared to Philippines.
Yeah, yeah. So you've so the music scene you've gone out and is okay. Maybe I'm not sure. Philip, the music scene is it shut down? Are any bands playing at all in the Philippines at the moment?
Right now, it's actually started. So there are a couple of drive-in concerts happened, I think, few weeks back, and then some local restaurants are now able to have some acoustic performances. So
Yeah,
I'm planning to visit some of these restaurants soon. So that's where we are. But the bigger concerts, I don't think it will start yet.
yeah.
But it's looking positive actually.
That's good. That's good to hear. Because during this COVID crisis, I think people have been hurt the most, like entertainment life. I guess for doctors, it hasn't affected doctors at all, right? Lawyers, or I've spoken to people that work in this line and on the oil rigs and things like that. But other people,
Right.
businessmen that travel abroad, slammed. You know, it's
Yeah.
been incredible takedown. But like you said, we've been very blessed to do what we're doing.
Yeah, because especially that I'm working in the technology, so the pandemic didn't really change much, because we used to work from home anyway before even the pandemic happened, so it was just a easy transition for us.
Okay.
Of course, I understand that especially the business and all these small businesses, especially that is being affected because of the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
things will get better.
Yeah. It's like missing the concerts. Not to get back on that, but yeah, seeing you at the concerts. I remember Singapore. It was the Nickelback concert at the Big Box, right?
Yes.
You there. As again, getting back to you getting around as you move about, man, from country to country. I think you were at the Slash concert with Miles Kennedy and
Yes.
Conspirators, right? The Coliseum, then at Hard Rock, and then you like I said, you fly about. And I wanted to ask, what is the furthest that you've flown? What is the furthest distance that you've flown to go see a concert?
Actually, the concerts, mostly I've been traveling in this region, Southeast Asia, and I've been to Australia for concert. That's probably the furthest here. But I was able to, because of work, I was able to go to Europe. I was able to go to Ireland, and then luckily I was able to see some of the concerts there.
Ireland. Ireland.
Ireland, yeah, Dublin, Ireland. So, the day before I was supposed to go home, there was CJ Ramon from the Ramones was there. So I was able to go and see that show.
So, hey, share with us out of your travels and going to country to sing bands and things. How many of the artists have you actually had a chance to meet?
Majority of them, because I
Oh,
normally try to go for the VIP most of the time. And so most of them.
so you go and you rock out the concerts in style. So let that be known, everybody. This man doesn't mess
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
I always feel that my sort of view is if you're having some experience, you should try to have the best experience you can, so that it's memorable. And I'm really glad that I did all these concerts and met all these artists, especially now with the pandemic, where you're not sure if these things will come back again, right? So
Yeah. What is your outlook? Your opinion on that? How do you feel things? Do you feel it's going to come back soon or later? You feel it's by the end of this year? What do you think?
I feel probably in the States and the Europe probably will come back maybe like next year. I think it's some of the European, I think they even started now. But for this region, probably Asia will pick up later on. So probably late next year, we can see some shows happening.
Yeah. Well, that would be great, man.
Yeah.
Has COVID taken away some of your mojo? I'm just want to ask because I've spoken to people and they've like, it's been a year, and the things they normally do and used to doing, it's been a year since they could do it. Like myself, I've been on stage for a year, so it's like, okay, you kind of get used to not just being on stage for a while, even though I'm still hungry for it. Has it taken away some of your drive at all?
Actually, originally, I think probably when the pandemic was announced, probably the first couple of weeks or maybe the first month, I was quite depressed with all this staying home and everything. But I think eventually I sort of adapted. I don't feel that I lost anything because I gained a lot of different in a different way. And it was a challenging time, but I feel it really made me stronger. And I would be, didn't much. I feel my mojo is still there.
Okay. That's good to hear, man. How about the effects of some of your friends? Have you felt that from any of them around you? That because around me, my circles, it's been they've been bombed out, so it's affected a lot of people. How about yourself on your friends?
Yeah. I experience. I talk to a lot of my friends, and then they do experience that, and some of them have experienced, losses. Some they have lost family members, or they lost their jobs, or so. It is terrible, and the only way we can do what we can do is to support them, and how way we can just encourage them. Yeah, I mean, life is life, so life is not going to be, it's always going to be brutal, right? That's the
Oh,
honest thing. So life is always brutal. So we just have to realize it and then move forward. So
yes, as I say again, you're always positive and your spirit is always up, and you're a good guy to definitely have around you because, as you said, yeah, life is brutal, but no one expected for the world to just shut down. It's like we all just hit a wall, or 80% of the people on the planet, we just, hit a wall and things just stopped moving, you
right.
know? And so
Maybe I feel maybe we needed that sort of stop so that we can think about, so focus on ourselves a little bit more than joining the rat race, because we've been doing sort of a rat race, right? So now I think we can look at ourselves and maybe improve ourselves when the world opens again.
like you said, in the rat race, it's literally the rat race, man. It's like a gerbil on the wheel, just the wheels turning and
Right.
So like you said, you got to be blessed. You said appreciate, as you said, what you have. You appreciate, and you in the tech and all this stuff. So it's for your job, and to be blessed for what you're doing, and to give you inspiration to everyone,
Yeah.
and through your podcast too. Also, I have to mention that because that's what you do. You sent out one band you were working with, or you really spirited animal spirit.
Spirited, yeah.
Yeah, forgive me if I got it backwards. Very good band. I mention you have a good taste for music. We'll have to mention that. No matter what genre it is, you have a taste for good music, man.
Yeah, and then that song, I just he's one of my friends from Sri Lanka, so I like his music, and then this was just my initiative that I thought I want to put this song in different countries. I want to play this in different radios in different places. So that was my initiative. It's not really the band who wanted to do this. They just shared the song with me. I really loved it. So that's why I got it played on the Ep114, and then also in South Africa, and then we are working on playing it in UK and also in the Philippines. So it was sort of a way that for me to support them, or also show a little bit more encouragement for them. So
great thing, man. I would like to ask you, what is the goal that you want to achieve? Think about it.
Yeah. So actually, I think, my idea now that with the podcast is actually to improve. Now I'm focusing more on improving the quality and the content, because I have done more like hundreds of episodes now. I have talked to so many artists, and I'm trying to get the next level of artists. So that's what sort of what I'm aiming for.
Right.
I feel that I'm sort of in that range now. So
and I'd like to say to you too, man, thank you for supporting Yay Plus, because we support you, and it's like again, global love. We're spreading the love around the world, and appreciate you a lot. You really, and looking forward to more stuff with you in the future, man, and your stuff that you do. Do you ever plan on going back to Sri Lanka someday, or are you going to stay in Philippines?
I will stay in the Philippines. I want to retire in the Philippines, so that's I have decided on that. But of course, I will visit Sri Lanka, and then I want to do some stuff there. I want to do some concerts and stuff there, because I want to bring, give back something back to Sri Lanka. So I would do that, but I would stay in the Philippines.
As well as me, I love Malaysia so much. I just want to stay here. I want to stay. I plan to stay here. I don't know, retiring from music. I don't know if you ever retired from music. I always want to play music. So it's a good life. I feel blessed, as you say, man, to be a musician and to be able to play music till the day you leave this earth. I want to play it. I live to be 90, 95, 100. Right. I still want to be able to pick up an instrument and play as you
Yeah, that's Teague, I was watching this movie today, the new Clint Eastwood movie. So he's 90 already, right? So he's still rocking. He's still doing amazing movies, and he's directing, he's acting. So I think he we can follow Clint, because you will do it. I think, I mean, there's no retirement.
He's 99.
Yeah. 99, right? Yeah.
Oh, so hey, Tom, before we close it up, man, like I said before, I don't want to keep all your time here, man. I really appreciate the talk with you. Anything you'd like to say to anybody out there?
Yeah, so support EA Plus, because EA Plus is doing a lot of great things for the indie artists. So support EA Plus. And if you have time, check out my podcast as well. You can just search for Channa 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 on YouTube or in other platforms. It's there. You can listen to a lot of great artists. So don't lose hope. So be strong, and we will make it.
So there you heard it, Channa Channa Channa. Check him out, YouTube. Check out his podcast. Check out Yay Plus on Facebook. Check out Yay Plus Official on Instagram. Check out Yay /plus PLUS.com website. And on that note, Channa, it's good talking to you. Thank you for the time that you've given and sharing your life story with us. And Teague Bass, over and out.
Thank you.